All right. Oh, look at this. Oh yes, this is a fun day. This is a very fun day. I won't lie, I couldn't help myself. I had to snap this open off camera once, but I thought, yeah, I need to get this on camera, I think, because I always wanna know myself exactly what you get in the box, especially when you get stuff like these. And as you can see, if you didn't catch that, this is a wheel set from Extralite. I'm no newcomer to Extralite, but it's always something special for me when they arrive. And as you can see, we get some I also want to say aqua grease, but this is all the grease Super 1. They're specific grease for the free hub body, and it's good that you get some of that. And you would think that this wouldn't last long, but I've been using Extralite hubs for many years now. One of these little things has lasted me for several seasons. Anyway, I'm got a sticker and some instructions. Also get some spare spokes, 2 to be exact, and a little spoke key even. Yeah, and some information about the spokes themselves. And you might have guessed it already, these spokes are carbon spokes because these wheels are the Extralite CyberDisc 340C, which is the carbon spoke version. And this is actually my first carbon spoked wheels. I've been on the fence quite a long time because I don't really look for a stiffer wheel, so to speak. I really like my steel spoked wheels, but well, I will get into why I eventually went with these. Anyway, let's just pull out the wheels. So the CyberDisc 340C, 340 is then, it's a 40mm deep wheel. This wheel set comes with Extralite CyberFront and CyberRear SPD3 Plus, which is the latest version, of course. I've had the SPD2 and I have the SPD3, and now the third generation, the Plus, which is supposed to be like slightly modified spoke holes for especially accommodating the carbon spokes. Anyway, let's whip out the rear one as well. Beautiful. Ah, yeah. Shimano HG free hub, of course, because that's what I use. And if anyone is wondering, I went for the lower spec, like the entry level spec. This is the Enduro, whatever they're called, the entry level bearings, and I will admit they are absolute crap. I never go for any overpriced ceramic upgrades or crap like that, but I will, as soon as these wear out, I will give them maybe a season or so. I will change all the bearings out for NTM bearings, which I can source locally here, and they are fucking immortal, those bearings. Love them. But the entry one's pretty crap. Internal width is supposed to be 23 mil. These are 23.2 if you want to be specific. And just to double check the width, which is supposed to be 40 mil then, or like 39.4. Well, there you go. 40 is probably the biggest for me personally. I would go on a wheel for my kind of riding. I wouldn't mind if it would have been like 24 internal, which would match my my other wheels, which I really do dig, but they're still wider than my current Extralite build, which is 21mm internal. Yeah, I guess you want to know the external width as well. Where do we have that? 28.2. So I guess your arrowheads doesn't really want to do anything wider than 28mm tires on these. I will do 30s because I don't care about that crap. Anyway, yeah. Even if I put it down here, you probably couldn't see the scale. So I will just reset this whole set to actually check the weight, and you will see why I got these in the end. And after that weigh-in, I will come back to this, and I will just point a few things out that might interest people. All right, the fun part, the party trick of these wheels. So here we have the rear wheel, 485.1 grams with the Shimano HG hub, and the front wheel, 405 grams. You might have already figured out where this is going. Exquisite balancing act. Somehow align the spokes so you can see the numbers. Can you see the numbers? Whoa. 890.4 grams. Yeah. This is what you call we're in heaven. Oh yes. Right, back again in this angle. Anyway, this, like I said, is the Extralite Cyber Rear SPD3 Plus, the latest iteration. And this hub for me is my favorite all-time hub. Of course, the lightness is one thing. It's basically the lightest hub you can get to build a complete system. There are, like, if you can see, these are, what do you call it? 6-bolt, for 6-bolt rotors. There are hubs in the same weight for center lock as well, but with a center lock, you will always end up with a complete system that is heavier than a 6-bolt. So if you want the absolute lightest, always go for the 6-bolt. And if you think it's hard to attach a rotor with the 6 bolts compared to center locks, well, that's your problem, I guess. I think Extralite is actually on their way to release a Cyber Rear and CyberFront SPD3C, I think they're called. Don't quote me on that, which I suspect is a center lock version. But like I said, I will always go for the 6-bolt version myself. Now, another reason why I really like these hubs, very big reason actually, is because they are relatively quiet. So I wouldn't say like silent, of course, but if you compare this to any ratchet hub or even the carbon tie hub, for example, these are so much more, yeah, comfortable on the ears. Yes, free spinning or going downhill or whatever. Let me just grab my DT Swiss for a quick comparison. Okay, so I know there's a cassette on here, so it's not apples to apples, but I still think you will get the picture. Yeah, that is humongous. Now, while these are my favorite hubs of all time, basically no competition, whenever people ask me for recommendation, I have a hard time really recommending these for the everyday person, so to speak. No disrespect, but you really need to stay on top of the maintenance with these, because I might as well show you. So I'm just gonna open up the free hub here, 2 17mm ring spanners. For starters, as you can see, when it comes to maintenance, they're not toolless. Here we go. That's why I often just recommend the DT Swiss, for example. The ratchet hubs are so easy to deal with when it comes to maintenance and durability and all that mess. So let's see if I can have something to point with. So if you looked at mechanisms, this is a pole-based free hub mechanism, and you see you only have 2 poles. And those poles are not spring-loaded by actual like a metal spring. It's actually an O-ring that keeps those engaged. And I got in quite a few comments like, yeah, that would break like as soon as you put some power down or whatever. But I haven't had a single one of these break for 2 generations of hubs. I don't even remember when I got my first one. We'll put it on the screen here, but yeah. No problem there, but you need to stay on top of this and make sure these get regular maintenance, because if this O-ring would dry out, so to speak, if you absolutely neglect this, yeah, you can imagine this snapping, and then you don't have much of a free hub mechanism left. But as long as you stay on top of this and do a nice clean and re-grease, 2 or 3 times a year, that will be good enough. And all these parts, the O-rings, the pawls, everything is available as spare parts, of course. So yeah, just to show you, I got this full tube of that Alder Grease Super 1 when I got my first set of wheels, and I have not even opened this yet. So there you go, that grease will last you quite a while. There was one more thing I wanted to point out. The rim is asymmetrical, so the spokes are offset to even out the tension, which means if you look at the center of the rim, the spoke holes are offset to, well, the non-dry side. Yeah, that's the right side. The problem that you can run into when you set these up tubeless, because actually this might be better than the original ones I had, because when you have the offset spokes, let's see if I can demonstrate this somehow. So if I take a bit of rib tape, just gonna put it on. Yeah, I actually don't know if this actually will make much sense, but still, I will try. I don't know if you can see that. Here we have one spoke hole. So when you put this on, this won't be a problem. You can like put the tires on, inflate them, put sealants in, and no worries. The problem is then if you can change tires or something like that, and you still want to keep the original tape. So the tire pressure will eventually push the tape a little bit down into the spoke hole, and when it's offset, it kind of gets pushed in here. So when you put the new tire on in the middle and have this little bump there, that's where air can escape basically on every spoke hole, which can make it really hard to seat again without, especially if you don't have the compressor or something like that. Now, it's a really simple fix. The only thing you need to do is replace the rim tape pretty much every time you change your tire, which is might be my recommendation even on normal rims. But I thought I would just point that out just in case. Now, I've been keeping my eye out for a couple of years now to see if any of those Chinese brands would come out with something a bit more extraordinary on the weight side. That doesn't seem to happen. They seem to focus more on making those like 50, 60, 70 mil deep wheels, which is fine, but it's definitely not something I'm looking for. So if I'm gonna pay premium, which these are definitely premium when it comes to the cost, I definitely want it to be a significant improvement on the weight front compared to my current lightest wheel, which are those 1060 grams wheels. And this definitely fit the bill, although I wish I wouldn't have had to spend quite as much money. But you only live once, I say. These are of course part of the Titanium Weenie Saga Season 2, which hopefully will get going later this spring, early summer maybe. We'll see what happens. And I will definitely talk more about these wheels once I have put some proper distance on them. And regarding tires, as you might have seen, the last 2 videos have been tire focused. First and foremost, I will probably put on the Agilis fast tires. I might even put them on with the TPU tubes to start with, if I want to experiment. See what happens. Anyway, fun days ahead. Catch you in the next one. Peace!